My friends, imagine a nation surrounded by enemies and divided from within. Imagine a people who live in fear of betrayal, who face attacks every week, and who no longer know whom to trust. Now, the leaders of this nation are saying something very serious. We may bring back the death penalty. Burkina Faso, a country in West Africa, is facing this big debate today. The last time they used the death penalty was in 1988. In 2018, the country decided to abolish it. But now, in 2024 and 2025, the discussion has returned. Should Burkina Faso restore this severe punishment to fight crime, terrorism, and betrayal? Or will this decision open the door to injustice and silence innocent people? This is not only a Burkina Faso question. It is an African question. It is a global question. Should the death penalty exist at all? Let's walk through this carefully, step by step. What is happening in Burkina Faso? Burkina Faso has been facing many crises in recent years. Terrorist groups have attacked villages. Thousands of people have been displaced. Betrayal and corruption have made it hard for leaders to know who is loyal and who is not. In November 2024, the military government, led by Captain Ibrahim Traore, announced that the death penalty might return. They said it could help fight terrorism and bring order back. They believe it may discourage those who want to commit crimes against the nation. For some people, this sounded like a bold decision. They felt it could send a strong message that crime will not be tolerated. But for others, it raised great fear. They worried about fairness. They worried about mistakes. And they worried about justice. Why this debate is important? The death penalty is the highest form of punishment a state can give. It means ending a person's life as a punishment for crimes like terrorism, murder, or treason. Supporters say it can bring peace by scaring criminals away. They say it can stop assassinations, reduce corruption, and give justice to victims. But critics say something different. They say once it is done, it cannot be reversed. If the wrong person is punished, there is no way to correct the mistake. They also say there is no clear proof that it truly reduces crime. This is why the debate in Burkina Faso is important. It is not only about security. It is about values, justice, and human dignity. If we look back at history, we see many examples. In South Africa, during the dark days of apartheid, executions were common. But when Nelson Mandela came to power in the 1990s, he led the country to a different path. In 1995, South Africa's Constitutional Court ruled that the death penalty violated the right to life and human dignity. Since then, South Africa has not used it. Mandela understood something. If a nation wants to build peace and forgiveness, it cannot start by taking life. He believed justice should be firm, but also merciful. Still, even today, many South Africans argue that the death penalty should return. This shows how emotional the subject is. When people feel unsafe, they want the strongest punishments. But when we look closely, we see the bigger picture is not so simple. Across Africa, the picture is not the same everywhere. Some countries, like Botswana, still practice executions. Others, like Rwanda, Senegal, and South Africa, have abolished it. Some countries, like Nigeria, still have the law, but rarely use it. In 2024, During a United Nations vote, 33 African countries supported a global moratorium on executions. This means many are slowly moving away from this punishment. So Burkina Faso's debate is not only national, it also places the country at a crossroads. Should it follow the trend of abolition, or should it go back to older methods of punishment? Here is where the real challenge lies. For the death penalty to work, investigations must be fair, clear, and honest. Trials must be transparent, judges must be independent, and every accused person must have a chance to defend themselves. But in Burkina Faso, many observers worry about this. Human rights groups have reported abuses, including cases where civilians were executed without trial. Journalists have disappeared. Critics have been silenced. If such a system now gains the power to use the death penalty, can people trust that justice will always be fair? Or will it sometimes be used against political opponents, the weak, or the innocent? This is why many voices in Africa and beyond are warning against rushing into it. Still, we cannot ignore another truth. Burkina Faso is under real attack. Terrorists burn villages. Communities live in fear. Leaders face betrayal from within. Some argue that extreme situations require extreme measures. If the death penalty scares enemies and reduces attacks, then why not bring it back? But does fear truly bring peace, or does it create a cycle of more violence? This is the heart of the question. Will it make the nation stronger or weaker? Let us return to Mandela's example, because it teaches us something. When he became president, South Africa was filled with anger. Many people wanted revenge. Yet Mandela chose reconciliation. He said, "Courageous people do not fear forgiving for the sake of peace." This is why South Africa stopped executions. It was not weakness. It was strength. It was the belief that a nation can punish without destroying life. Can Burkina Faso follow such an example? Or is its situation too different? In Nigeria, executions are rare, but the law remains. In Egypt, the death penalty is still used. In Botswana, hangings still take place. Yet, in many African countries, activists are working hard to remove it forever. They argue Africa should lead in protecting the dignity of human life even in the face of crime. They also remind us, corruption is not solved by fear. Terrorism is not stopped by one punishment. What really works is strong institutions, good leadership, and trust between people and government. The risk of wrongful punishment. One of the greatest dangers of the death penalty is punishing the wrong person. History is full of such cases. When investigations are poor or when judges are pressured, innocent people can suffer. Later, when the truth comes out, it is too late. That is why many countries decided it is safer to abolish it completely. Burkina Faso must ask itself, is its justice system strong enough, fair enough, and independent enough to carry such a heavy responsibility? Final reflection. So, what can we say at the end of this long journey? Burkina Faso is under attack. It wants to protect its people. It wants to end betrayal and corruption, and it wants to punish those who harm the nation. But bringing back the death penalty is not just a punishment, it is a test of values. It asks, do we fight darkness with more darkness, or do we choose a different light? some Africans will say, yes, it should return. Others will say, no, never again. And so I leave you with this question. Is bringing back the death penalty in Burkina Faso a welcome idea for Africa's future, or is it a dangerous step backward for justice and human dignity?